All right. Yes, guys, how is it going? So, in this video, I'm going to show you how I made an extra £4,000 from work I was going to do anyway in 1 week. This was probably about 2 weeks ago now. And what I mean by work I was going to do anyway is this was stuff that I was already creating and delivering to clients that were already paying me, right? I was doing it anyway. And with a couple of extra steps, which I'm going to show you exactly how to do in this video, I was able to make an extra £4,000 outside of what my clients were already paying me, which is obviously pretty nice. But more than that, I was able to actually generate a load of leads, a load of customers, and even clients as well through this exact same technique. So you create money and you also create new leads, new customers, people to sell to. This is really cool. And this is something that I call inside our world, the aligned sales system, because it's aligned, right? A lot of coaches, they look at everything completely in isolation. They've got their delivery, they've got their marketing, they've got their content, they've got their sales, and it's all kind of in isolation. They have to wear a million different hats and they're running around all of the time. What we do inside the aligned sales system is we align it all, right? So when you're creating amazing stuff for your clients and your client community already, we align that with your sales process and your marketing. So we can use the stuff and the effort that you've already put into that to actually generate leads, customers, and clients, and use that to drive our content as well. So that's exactly what we're about to go through in this video. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet. And if you're new to the channel, if you are a coach, consultant, or anyone who pretty much uses your own information in your own mind to make money on the internet and you help other people on the internet, this is going to be perfect for you. Right, let's get into it. So how I made an extra £4,000 from work I was going to do anyway. So before we get into everything, let's have a look at some quick definitions, right? So in this video, we're going to talk about 3 kinds of people in my world. There's going to be leads, customers, and clients. Most coaches only look at 2 of these, right? Most coaches have leads, so the people that they're able to speak to, they're able to communicate with, anyone that's shown any interest. And then they've got clients. They go from a lead to a client, and a client is someone in their world that they are serving over a prolonged period of time. Well, inside this video and inside my world, inside the Aligned Coach, we have a third definition that sits in between both of those, and it is a customer. A customer, different to a client who pays you consistently and you do ongoing work for. A customer is someone who has paid you once for one thing. So it's a one-off payment. It's not an ongoing service or anything like that. They may pay you once, multiple times, if you get what I mean, but it's not an ongoing service. They're not inside your world as a client, right? Now, here's something really important about these definitions. A customer is 20 times more valuable to you than a lead, right? Even if the customer's only spent £10, they are much more valuable to you than a lead. It's actually very, very easy to get leads, get opt-ins and everything else. But to get someone to actually online, get their card out, put their details into something and actually send you money for something that you've created and you've put in front of them, it shows a huge amount of trust. And it also acts as a really good filter to be able to filter out the people that are just wanting free shit. And it allows you to identify the people in your audience that are actually serious about solving the issue that you help them solve. So serious that they are ready to actually spend money to do that thing, right? So when we can start to generate customers, it's really powerful because then we can filter out maybe out of the 500 leads that we can generate, the 50 or even the 25 that are actually serious about this. And then we can make sure to spend much more time with them and we can so often convert them into actually being clients. So all of this, right, how I made an extra £4,000 anyway from work that I was already going to do, all of this is based on one thing that we call micro offers, okay? So a lot of coaches, they post content, and then they've got one core offer that they're trying to drive everyone to, and everyone's always being taught that that is the way that we should be doing things, right? But inside my world, what we do is something called micro offers. A micro offer is something out of your core offer that you've been able to rip out, something that your market is going to love, and you make them this smaller offer for a one-off payment. So it's not a replacement for your core offer, but it's a perfect way for them to have a low-priced, low fear, low decision-making offer right in front of them that they can impulse buy. They can say, yeah, sounds good. They grab it. And again, you've now created a customer. You've now created someone who has shown that they're actually serious about this. So the way that I did this, right, pretty much was I had inside the Align Coach, I've got a group of coaches and I teach them all how to build their business the aligned way, right? Over the next 3 weeks, at this point in time, I was about to deliver a 3-week workshop. So one workshop each week for the 3 weeks to create something called their signature process, right? This was going to be huge for the coaches inside the program. It was going to be really, really cool. So what I did is I turned it into a micro offer, right? So notice this, the work was happening anyway. I was already going to do this work inside the community. And what I did is I packaged up the 3 workshops that were going to happen anyway. I packaged it up in an offer. So I spoke about the outcome, why they need a signature process, which was the theme of the whole series of workshops, put a price tag on it. And this was basically a ticket for anyone to be able to pay £150 to be able to sit in on the workshops. Obviously, they don't get support from me. They don't get the multiple masterminds every single week where they can bounce ideas off me and everything like that a client would. They just got access to the workshops. So this was the micro offer, right? And any niche, anyone can do this with their offer, because if your offer is good enough to sign people up, there is going to be multiple valuable things within that you can constantly take out and use as micro offers. So that's exactly what I did. I had the 3 weeks of workshops coming up. I turned it into a micro offer and I promoted that to my audience. So that actually took up a week of my content, which is quite nice because it means that it drives your content and it's not just, random content hoping someone comes and messages you. You're able to put an offer in front of them to draw people out. And it did pretty good. So let's look at the maths. Where are we? So the maths. So overall, and there's actually one extra little bit to add here, but at the time I made this, like the week after, overall, there was 12 micro offer sales, right? So I put this micro offer out to my audience, to my email list and everything else. Sent a couple of DMs as well as the people that I thought would be a really good fit for this. And 12 new human beings paid for the ticket, right? So that made £180. But I'm not, sorry, £1,800. But I'm not actually that interested in the £1,800. It's obviously nice. Every £1,800 helps. But that's not the actual reason we do this. The real reason we do this is the 12 new human beings that have raised their hand, that have shown you that they are serious about getting this result with you, and they trust you. And now they're inside my world, going through these workshops and seeing how good my shit is, right? That's actually the more important part for me, because yes, £1,800 is quite nice. But these 12 customers, my goal now is to sign up the right ones and turn those into clients. And the beautiful part is you don't even need sales calls or anything else, because they're already in my world. They're already experiencing my program and what it can do for them. The upsells are very, very, very easy. And then I also got one upfront sale for £2,000, because the beauty of micro offers and actually marketing them is sometimes when we are marketing the same offer, your same core offer, you articulate it in the same way, you talk about it in the same way, and eventually people just go numb to that, right? So this upfront sale came because the week, and by the way, I only promoted this for a week to get these 12 people, and it was only organic. So the week that I was promoting this micro offer, what happened was I was articulating my value and the value that my program brings to coaches in a slightly different way and a slightly different angle. And a sale is made when you articulate your value and your solution in the way that matches your prospect's perceived problem, right? And all of your different prospects, all of your different audience, they're all going to have a different perceived problem. Whether they are right or wrong doesn't really matter when it comes to making the sale, because that's what they believe, right? So when we've run in different micro offers, we're actually able to make articulate our value in different ways, depending on the micro offer, that sometimes just clicks in people's heads, right? So this conversation was started because of the micro offer. We had a conversation over email, and he said, I'm not sure whether to join this or just join you because I've been thinking about it for a while. And that was the final straw, and he joined up front, right? So again, through the promotion of this micro offer, which I was already doing, that's another £2,000 generated at £2,000, yes, and a client. And then finally, during that week, there was also 2 more upsells from these customers. Straight away, they put down deposits to be able to join the program. Since then as well, another person, this was the week after, so I'm not adding it into the 4,000, paid an extra on top of the 1,500, on top of the 150, paid an extra 850 to join the program as well. So that actually becomes 4,850, right? Bearing in mind, this was work I was doing anyway. I was creating for my clients, which is my favorite thing to do, to get creative and actually be able to do this stuff. But just because I said, I threw away the advice that most people say of only have one thing to sell, and I sold access to this small part of my program live, I was able to make an extra £4,850, get 3 clients, because, by the way, these conversations, these were upsells, and one of them was, again, a conversation started from this marketing for the week around this, and generate 12 customers, 2 of which have already upsold, and there probably will be some more, because that micro offer, the workshops, they haven't even finished yet. So there's going to be more upsells as we go. But this is why this is such a powerful tactic, right? Because what's the traditional way? You have your core offer and you talk about it in the exact same way every single week. It's the only thing that you can sell, so you don't want to be making offers too frequently to your audience and stuff, because you don't want to always be looking salesy. Eventually, they're going to decide in their heads no, and then they stop looking. And you can't make offers very frequently because you've only got one thing, right? And it's sometimes a huge leap, right? If they've got to go from a follower to £2,000 up front, for example, that's a bit of a leap, right? And there's going to be people that actually want to work with you, but they're not ready to make that leap yet. They might trust you a bit. They might like your style. They might like the way that you do things, but they're just not ready to make that huge leap to, a couple £1,000s. So there's going to be people watching you. These people would have already been watching me, right? There's going to be people watching you, but they're just not ready yet for whatever reason to jump into that big program of yours. So when we can put the right micro offer in front of the right people by making multiple micro offers as we go, that's the thing that draws people out of your audience consistently from work you was going to do anyway, remember, because you was already probably going to be posting every single day or that frequently, right? So it's all work that you was already going to do anyway. But it's actually able to make money and draw hot leads / customers out of your audience so you can actually upsell them. And trust me, when you start doing this consistently, it becomes very, very easy, especially if you're creating for your clients frequently. If you're creating new things for them, solutions to be able to solve their problems, you're also creating new micro offers that you can put out in your audience and constantly draw new people in. And it actually it's a very, very, very effective way to create leads and customers and actually clients eventually. But it also reduces your workload, because we are finding leverage between the thing that you're creating for clients and what you're putting out in your marketing and the offers that you're making to your audience, right? So it's all leveraged. So the main part here, of course, is the 12 new high intent customers to wow and convert, right? If I haven't made this clear enough, it's not for the £4,850 course, some of this was actually clients, of course, but it's so I can bring in customers who, remember, are the highest intent people in our world versus other than actual clients, bringing in customers that have already spent some money with me. And now, without me needing to do any more work, I am going to wow them with the things that I was already going to do, because this is all assuming that you're good at what you do, of course, and then make them the invitation to sign up with me, right? And this is how, by the way, we make super easy sales inside the Align Coach. You know, me and my clients. This is how we make super easy sales, where we don't have to convince, we don't have to persuade, and we don't have to even jump on sales calls, because they're seeing value all the way along, because we've made this nice, easy stepping stone kind of way for them to come through. You know, these people, once they've come in and they've been in my world, they've seen my clients doing this, they've been part of my clients, have sat virtually side by side with them in a Zoom room, and they like what they see. A sales call is not needed anymore. It's just an invitation and the logistics of that, right? And how it works. And then I can work with them in whichever tier of the multi-tier offer that they want to work with. So let's look at how it goes, right? So the offer, the marketing, and why it works. I feel like I've probably said why it works all the way down. So we might not have to touch on that too much. But the offer itself was the signature process. Craft your signature process, right? So we were creating something called the signature process, which is a really, really important thing that coaches need inside the Align Coach. We was doing that over the next 3 weeks. And the offer was for them to sit in with us during those workshops and do the work too. Now, here's the funny thing around the marketing. And by the way, that's £150 to sit into those 3 sessions. Now, here's the funny thing. Let me get back to the offer. One other thing as well, £150 for what they were getting is pretty much a no-brainer for the people that they're doing it, right? So with micro offers, it's not about the money on the front end. So we don't want to price it at a point where we're trying to make it maximum money. We actually want to price it right so we're getting more people in so we can actually convert them. Now, the marketing's interesting because this was called Craft Your Signature Process. Now, the thing is, the signature process, no one really knew what that was before I started marketing about it, right? Because that wasn't a term people were using. I created the term, at least in my world, right? So the marketing was daily emails, daily posts, all around the present pains that the signature process, which was my big idea that I was selling access to, the present pains that the signature process solves for my niche. And the future gain, which is what life will be like on the other side of having this signature process, right? That was the marketing. Daily emails, sometimes multiple emails a day, making people aware of this. I literally, super simple, I had the offer document on a Google Doc with a Stripe link at the bottom, and I sent that over. That was the sales process. There was no sales pages, there was nothing. It was just a Google document with all the information, emails, and there was a couple of DMs as well to people that I actually knew that would actually really like this. Pretty much already said why it works, but to make this really clear, there are people in your audience who like the look of what you do, but they're just not at that point to make that huge leap yet. Maybe it's their own fear, their own trust. Maybe it's them in their own heads thinking to themselves, I only need this little piece of it, which is usually wrong, but it's a belief that's going to stop them from making the move, right? So why it works is because now we have a strategy to be able to chunk down our offer to a smaller piece, make it really easy to say yes to, make it really easy to market something new, and really useful for us to be able to make more and more offers to our audience. Because if there's one thing that is a fact inside my world and the coaches that I work with, the more offers that they're able to make, the more money that they make. It is a straight correlation. Problem is, if you've only got one offer and you only ever make it in one way, then you can't make more offers because you just look annoying, just selling the same thing constantly, right? So when we do these micro offers, it's a really, really good way to be able to make a different offer. It looks different, it looks fresh, but it's still going into the same thing. They're still going into the same offer, right? But it looks different, it looks fresh, and it can get different people in your audience that may have already said no in their heads to now start to say yes, bring them in, and they see how good it is. This is perfect for the coach who says, it's hard for me to make sales, but as soon as they're in, they don't leave. Because that's probably a sign that inside is really, really good, but you're not doing a good job of articulating it on the outside externally in your marketing. So if you could just sell access to the inside for a really, really easy thing, easy price, easy decision, you're going to get more people in. And here's the thing, right? You might be looking at this and, I'm in the business coaching niche. You might be looking at this and thinking this only works for you, or it would not work for me or anything else. But this doesn't just work for me, it works for clients as well. So who is this? This is a mindset coach. And this was the exact same week as well. Thought I'd share another win on a micro offer. Here's exactly how it works, right? Ordered tickets, £50. Offered tickets, £50 to my masterclass in community. Had a lead, sent the doc, but they had cold feet due to just another masterclass and being skeptical. So look what happens. He had a lead. It started a conversation. This is the main thing, right? So he had a call with them. Not something I would do, but something he would do. He had a call with them, but it ended up working out well because he ended up turning this lead that was only in conversation with him because of this micro offer into a £1,800 high ticket sale for one-to-one mindset coaching up front. So this was someone that was skeptical of a £50 thing. They had a conversation. Because of the conversation, he sold them on £1,800. And this is another guy. He is a fitness coach. Few wins from him. Just had my first email sale for a micro offer. So one of the things that we do with these micro offers as well, by the way, is we automate the sales process of the best one. So if you have a really, really good micro offer, it sells on the front end and it upsells as well. We automate the process of selling this. So, that 7-day sequence that I had sending emails to my list that worked and got 12 people on, I can take those emails, I can put those into a sequence. So then every time a new opt-in comes in, I can sell them on the micro offer if it's a pre-recorded thing or a digital product like that. And then, every single opt-in we're able to sell to them. So this guy's only got 13 people on his list, right? But he had someone come through, and because of that automation that we had set up, he was able to turn a complete stranger into an opt-in and turn them straight into a customer, which is really, really cool. And this guy also made a little extra £250 from micro offers in a month, which is quite nice, right? Especially as he's not doing that many. So out of 13 people that came through, right, one became a customer automatically. Beautiful. And then not long later, this was like a couple of days later, he added this update. So this guy that opted in for the micro offer, the same guy, the guy that bought the automatic micro offer, which was a digital product. This guy's a fitness coach, by the way. He had a chat with him over email because, remember, when they buy something, they've now shown you a huge amount of intent that they are serious about solving this problem. He realized that he needed ongoing support, and he signed up to his one-to-one coaching purely from email and pretty much mostly automated apart from that little email conversation at the end. No sales call needed. Pretty cool. So how can you do it yourself? So you want to rip out part of your core program. So if you have a core program, right, ask yourself, what are the core pieces within this that your clients love and they solve a huge problem for your niche, right? A huge problem that your niche is already aware that they have. Rip that out of your program and make it a micro offer. Have a promotion, a time-sensitive campaign promotion, right, for about a week. So make sure that they've got a reason to move now, because when it's cheaper and it is like a digital product and stuff, it's even harder to get people to move now. So we need to give them a good reason. So run a time-sensitive campaign, so probably around a week. And by the way, that can either be this micro offer ends here, or it could be that you've bundled bonuses with it that you take away. So you may bundle one-to-one calls with this, because remember, you're then basically getting paid to do sales calls because these people are the hottest leads. You may want to bundle one-to-one calls with this, but only for the 7 days. And that's the reason why they want to move now, so they can get the digital asset and they can also get a one-to-one call with you. Rip that out of your program, run a time-sensitive campaign to your audience. Also use this for DMs as well. So there's going to be people that you've messaged before that didn't want your main thing. And it's hard to go back to them and offer another main thing, right? And you keep going back. but it's a really good opportunity to go back and say, hey, I know that you didn't want the big thing. I know that you said that the price was too much, but we've got this thing, it's £50. Are you interested? Right, really, really good way. And then finally, upsell. So anyone that buys a micro offer from you, right, unless your volume is like crazy high, anyone that buys a micro offer from you, have a conversation with them in any medium that you want. It doesn't really matter. It can be email, it can be DMs, it could be a conversation, it could be a phone call, whatever it is. Have a conversation with them and look for one thing. What was their intent? They got their credit card or debit card out and they paid for this thing. What was their intent behind buying this? They want something. Find out that intent, find out how it's going, and in that conversation and in that gap between where they want to go and how that's actually going, there's probably a place where you can slot yourself in, and that's where you upsell this customer into a client. Final little piece here, which is really, really cool. Eventually, you create a pool of customers, right? I've got a pool of, I don't know how many, maybe just over 100 probably at this point, customers that I can play around with, right? So I've got, we've all got thousands of leads, but many of them are time wasters. But I've got, let's just say, a pool of 100 customers. Every now and then, if I want to get in front of more high intent people and have a opportunity to sell people, I can actually tap into this pool and I can literally message them all, because they're all on email, right? Email them all, send an email out and say, next week I'm hosting a customer only masterclass where we're going to go through X, Y, or Z. Come along, ask any question around it. And then in that video or in that masterclass, I can make them an offer and get back into contact with these people that have shown me intent, right? So it works really, really well. Finally, thinking about what to actually sell. What solves the main problem that's on your market's mind that you've already got? The best thing is when you can just kind of rip most of the things out of what you've already got, which is usually best. Second of all, if that doesn't work, think about what they need at the front end, right? I had a client once and he pretty much, like, to keep it super basic, he had this mastermind program where he was helping leaders turn their vision into a reality, basically, right? And we noticed one thing. The only people that were signing up, even though the first 90 days or the first month was all around vision creation, the only people that were signing up were people that already had a vision. That makes a lot of sense, by the way, because people aren't going to buy something they can't see. So they're not going to buy something in terms of turn your vision into reality if they can't see the vision that they're turning into reality. So what we did is we actually created a micro offer to create the vision. And in 1 week, he sold 26 of those micro offers to create the vision, then upsold those. Now that they had the vision, now they had a reason to join his mastermind and actually turn it into reality. So think about that for your own niche. Where do they need to turn their vision, what do they need before they actually join that will get them over the hump, right? Maybe they've never made a sale online before and you help people make certain sales online. Then they probably need that belief that it's possible. So if you can get them that first sale online from a micro offer, now they're going to trust you. They're going to trust in themselves and trust that the thing's possible. And then they're going to want to join you and actually keep this party going. So you can also look at that. So that is micro offers. That is how I made an extra £4,000 from work I was going to do anyway. And I hope that was useful.